Hello and welcome to French Fried Trains, everyone. It's Saturday, June 29th, 2019. We had already caught a couple of trains earlier that day. We were just waiting here, waiting to see what would come, when we saw this forklift come and dump his trash in this dumpster, so I recorded it. While we were waiting, there was a CSX road crew working on the Central Avenue crossing. This crossing is notorious for malfunctioning and the gates dropping when no train is there. This past week, the gates dropped and stayed down for more than an hour, and the police had to be called out to direct traffic. So CSX is out there working on it, replacing an insulation joint. After a while, this CSX high railer decided to come down southbound past us. He actually wasn't part of the road crew that's working on the crossing. He just went by, stopped, talked to them, and continued on with his normal track inspection. About a half an hour after he had passed, we had a green signal indicating that a southbound was coming. This autorec train is led by an ES44DC with an Sd50-3 rebuild trailing. The Sd50-3 was originally built as an Sd40-2 for the Louisville and Nashville line. Loaded autoracks headed south, a common sight on the Toledo Sub. While he does have the clear green signal, this train is going slightly slower than it normally would due to the road crew working at that crossing. And boy, does this autorack train sure look good in this bright sunlight. After this train had passed, we waited a while and nothing was coming. The road crew moved south of us to the next crossing down at Beekwood Road. We decided with them working down there, nothing was going to come, so I went back home for a while. When I went by, there was 6 CSX trucks down there and about a dozen men working, so definitely no trains coming for the moment. Later in the evening, a couple hours later, I decided to come back out. And boy, was that the right choice. The road crew was gone from Beekler Road, and when I went over the rails, there was 2 trains stacked up waiting in the siding northbound. When I got to my normal spot, there was another rail fan there. He had a radio, and he informed me that the train waiting in the siding had an Sd50 on it. What luck! So, with excitement growing for this Sd50 to come out of the siding, we settled in, and waited for the southbound that was routed to pass first. It took about 20 minutes, but now he's upon us. A manifest train, led by an ES44ACH and an ET44AH. Starting off with the daily slabs heading south. Lots of coil shield cars on this train. He's slowing down now, probably due to the second train that's in the other end of this siding to the south. Some interesting graffiti for a tank car there. He's really slowing down now due to the other two trains in the siding. I almost wonder if he's going this slow because he had to wait for the bottom end of the second train in the siding to clear the other end of the siding. After he passed, it was only about 2 minutes before the headlights on that Sd50-3 down in the siding lit up. He honked his horn, and then he revved up and started moving his train out of the siding. My excitement here was immense. There's not many Sd50s left, and those that are left are going to be phased out soon. And there he is. This Sd50-3 was originally built as a straight Sd50. Trailing is an AC44CW in the YN2 paint scheme, and they are wasting no time in getting this train moving. That was definitely an awesome catch. Look how fast they got this train going already. After he passed, I assumed the second train, an autorack train that was down in the siding, would be creeping forward on a lunar signal and waiting for this train to clear the signal block so he could start his run. However, as I watched, the train did creep up, but when he reached this end of the siding, he stopped and his headlights shut off. What luck! That train got to move from the back of the siding to the front, and then he had to wait again. At this point, I was unsure of what was actually going on. The southbound signal was red, a northbound train had just left, and this train was just stopped sitting there. I would thought he'd at least be creeping at lunar speed, waiting for the other train to get out of his way. But no, he was just staying there. 15 minutes later, we got our answer. The southbound signal went green, which indicated to me the train with the Sd50 had cleared the next siding up in Moraine, and that a southbound was leaving there for here. That poor autorack train was fourth in line as he waited for this southbound as well. And one heck of a horn show on this train, with a pair of ES40 DCs and a Dash 8 in the old YN2 paint scheme. And the hopper train headed south. We've seen this train quite a few times this week. This train definitely had the priority. We would find out why once that train finally came out of the siding, because that autorack train was mostly empties. And with that slightly confusing adventure, he passed, the autorack train put on his lights, and finally got to start his run out of Carlisle. And not a moment too soon for me, the sunlight was fading fast. This train had a pair of ES44 ACHs, one on the front and one running distributed power in the middle of the train. The empty autoracks finally got to leave Carlisle. I was excited for the train crew, who at this point had been sitting there for more than an hour. Nothing too spectacular here. A pretty standard autorack train as far as CSX goes. Here comes the second locomotive now. And a bunch more autoracks behind the second locomotive. It makes me wonder how both trains were able to even fit in that siding. And so, with the last train finally out of the siding and leaving town, and the sunlight fading fast, I was done for the evening. So that's all we have for you on this episode of French Fried Trains. Thanks for listening to my story. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, everyone.